These days, the idea of a camera just for action feels like a bit of an anachronism. In 2022, social media is king, and action is just one subsection thereof. You only need to look at the last few GoPros and the competition to see that brands with skin in the game are all too aware of that. Enter the Hero 11 Black, where everything feels a bit grown up, in a skate dad kinda way. As for what's new, if you had physical design on your bingo card, you're out of luck. Substantial redesigns seem to come along every 3 or 4 years, but for now the Hero 11 looks exactly the same as the 10, just with a 1 replacing the 0 painted on the side. As usual, though, there are some extra shooting modes. Super View is now available right up to 5K 60/4K 120, previously 4K/60 was the max. Similarly, still images receive a boost from 23 megapixels up to 27. There's also 10-bit color across the board. The shrewd among you will have spotted that this means there is a new sensor, and it's core to some of the other new features below. Despite the move up from 1/2.3 to 1/1.9, those extra megapixels don't seem to have really translated to improved low light performance. Accordingly, there's no such claim. Instead, you have more pixels to play with. In fact, this new, taller sensor is what enables 2 of the main new features. First is 360-degree horizon lock in linear mode, up to 5.3K/30. Horizon leveling was already pretty good on the Hero 10, but now it's absolute. If your activities involve a lot of tight corners or literal body spinning, this can be used for creative effect. If, like me, you're just prone to wonkily mounting your camera, you can really just forget about all that now. Both DJI's new Osmo Action 3 and the Insta360 offer similar horizon lock features, but GoPro's is available in frame rates such as 4K/60 and 2.7K/120, whereas DJI's, for example, tops out at 2.7K/60. The second, and probably bigger advantage to the taller sensor is the ability to record in full frame. This isn't a camera mode per se, although it can be used as such if you like 8:7, 5.3K video. It's more of a tool for shooting absolutely everything and then punching out the aspect ratio you want, or more than one, after the fact. With full frame, you can shoot once and pull a 4K 16:9 video out for YouTube and then a 9:16 version for TikTok, for example. Both with completely different framing if you wish. Alternatively, you can kinda set and forget, and then just frame the shot after the fact. This feature has a lot of potential, especially if you're not really sure what shooting mode to go for. I tried it out by mounting the camera on my bike perpendicular to the frame, turning the bike into a dolly of sorts. I rode past some interesting scenery and then punched out a conventional 16:9 edit and a mobile-friendly 9:16 version. The landscape clip came out pretty good as I was able to cut out a lot of pavement and focus on the subject. The mobile version still turned out better than if I had to crop it out from a 16:9, and of course there was no loss of resolution, but this particular shot didn't end up being suitable for portrait. Either way, the full frame feature improved both videos, and the fact I could frame each of them differently definitely got me thinking about other cool things I could do with this. If there was a negative, you might find yourself having to think backwards. For example, I did a short intro to camera using the front screen to frame myself, but when I was choosing the aspect ratio I wanted to punch out later, I realized that I was filling the screen, so had to settle for a weird crop. Something I would have avoided if I was recording in a fixed FOV like 16:9 from the start. Keeping things frame related, there is a new digital lens, which is GoPro's marketing language for field of view, called Hyperview. Way back in 2013, the company introduced Super View, which shoehorned everything on the sensor into a 16:9 aspect ratio. It's a bit intense, but does make first-person shots feel faster and more immersive. Well, Hyperview is essentially that, but for the new, taller sensor, and it's a bit bonkers. We've come this far without talking about how the videos and photos actually look. GoPro image quality has come a long way in recent years. Last year, there was a noticeable improvement in sharpness. And while there's no real change this time around, colors do seem to case, using a modern model can be a bit overwhelming as there are a lot of features and shortcuts crammed into the rear display. To help with that, GoPro introduced Easy Mode, which uses a single preset for each of the three main shooting modes: time-lapse, video, photo. Easy Mode doesn't make it instantly clear what FOV or frame rate you're shooting in, but it's 5.3K/30 at 16:9 according to a test video and the small text in the speed shortcut menu that I'll get to in a minute. Time-lapse defaults to time warp, stabilized videos made from still images, which is probably the most useful of the lot, so that makes sense. Photos default to super mode, which is GoPro's own automatic mode